Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, March the 12th, 2023. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And another week has passed, and here in the U.S. we moved our clocks forward last night, and I'm always off for about 2 to 4 weeks after we move forward, and so kind of struggling today, but I'm gonna try and have enough energy to get through this show. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the show. This will be my weekly update they'll be putting on YouTube, and we'll look at methane and sea ice for the week, and earthquakes and climate related items. So I want to start off with Sam Carana put a new blog post up yesterday. It's pretty short, so I'm just going to go through it. And let me see if we can get it a little bigger. Here we go. And if the images show up, one of them didn't. Anyway, we'll just go with this right now. And he titles it, "We are now in the Suicene," meaning the new age, like committing suicide. The Holocene is the geological epoch or epoch that started approximately 11,650 years ago. The demarcation point between the Holocene and the preceding Pleistocene is the end of the last glacial period, in line with variations in the Earth's orbit. Anthropocene. Instead of going down as would be in line with changes in the Earth's orbit, temperatures and greenhouse gas levels over the past few thousands of years have kept going up as a result of activities by people. In other words, changes in the Earth's orbit were no longer the dominant force causing changes in temperature and greenhouse gas levels. Instead, human activities had become more dormant. Start of the Anthropocene. It makes sense to name an epoch after the dominant force shaping its climate. An earlier analysis concludes that from the year 3480 BC, emissions by people have been higher than the amount it takes to negate the natural trend for the temperature to fall. From 3480 BC, forcing due to activities by people was stronger than the natural fall in temperature that would have eventuated in the absence of such activities. This makes the year 3480 BC most significant as a climate marker, and it makes sense to regard this both as the base for the temperature rise from pre-industrial and as the start of the Anthropocene. End of the Anthropocene. At the Paris Agreement adopted in 2015, nations pledged to limit the temperature rise to well below 2 degrees C above pre-industrial levels, with efforts taken to limit it to 1.5 degrees C above pre-industrial levels. The image below illustrates that, despite these pledges, these thresholds may already have been crossed. The earlier analysis concludes that rise from pre-industrial to 2020 could be as much as 2.29 degrees C, which would mean that the thresholds set at the Paris Agreement have already been crossed, and the rise from pre-industrial may well exceed 3 degrees soon, in turn effectively making 3 degrees C the new threshold that should not be crossed, the more so since humans will likely go extinct with a 3 degrees C rise, as illustrated by the image below from an analysis discussed in an earlier post. The Suicide. As we keep appointing omnicidal maniacs who act in conflict with best available scientific analysis, we are now facing a temperature rise that looks set to drive humans into extinction. Humans are now functionally extinct, and another name change is in order. Indeed, we are now in the Suicide. Sam Carana, March 2023. In conclusion, we have left the Anthropocene. We are now functionally extinct, and we look set to drag most, if not all, life on Earth into extinction with us, as we keep appointing omnicidal maniacs who act in conflict with best available scientific analysis. We are now in the Suicide. So I wanted to share that, and his website is arctic-news-blogspot.com. Now here's the image he was talking about, and this is annual northern hemisphere land temperature anomaly. So it's land temperature, not ocean temperature. The blue trend, that's this line, based on 1850 to 2020 data, points at 3 degrees C crossed in 2032. The pink trend, based on 2012 to 2022 data, better reflects variables such as El Niño and sunspots, showing that this could trigger a huge rise, with 3 degrees C crossed in 2024. Anomalies are from 1901 to 2000, not from pre-industrial. And so here's the line, and here's 3C up at the top, and 2.5 right here, and this line is 2023, and so we're in March, so it's heading up, as you can see. And here's 2024. He's showing at the beginning of 2024 to be at 2.5 C. And this is later in 2024 at 3C. But I'm thinking it could go up faster than that, considering everything that we've got in store. So I just thought I'd share that. And now, let's move on to the show. I'm going to start with Climate Reanalyzer, and it's already showing Monday. They update on UTC time, I think. Or, well, when do they update? No, they update on midnight at Eastern time, and it's 11:19 p.m. Pacific time. So they've already got Monday up, so we'll go ahead and, well, on some of them they have Monday. They may not have all of Monday up. But here's maximum temperatures around the globe, and we've been seeing warmer temperatures all around this Arctic region this week. Here's the flat view, and we've got whites down here in South America. This is Chile. Argentina, sorry. Africa, and see Western Africa is heating up. India's got some whites. The western side of Australia, and the whites denote 40°C or higher, or 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly for today, March 12th. And we can see, well, we had a lot of reds over the Arctic during the week, but those have moved out. Now we've got a lot of blues. We've got reds over Russia, reds and browns over a lot of Russia, brown from the North Pole down into Greenland and the Canadian archipelago, brown in northern Canada, and then look at these blues. That's colder than normal. And then browns in the southern U.S. and the Antarctic has got, it's heating up. It's got a lot of reds and browns over it. And see, we've got browns in Spain and France, and see, we've got reds and browns coming across the Middle East and over into China here. Here's our overview. Worldwide, we're up 1°C, higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 1.44°C. The Arctic is up 2.46°C. The Antarctic is up 3.13°C. The southern hemisphere is up 0.55°C. And the tropics are up 0.4°C. And so you can see all the regions are in the plus range, higher than normal. And these four are really up there, like the world, northern hemisphere, Arctic, and Antarctic. And see, the Antarctic is higher than the Arctic, but with both poles being higher than normal, we're in runaway warming now. And with that, we can have a lot of anomalous weather, the cold air, and in the wrong time of year and stuff because the jet stream is broken. Here's precipitation and clouds. This is for today. And we've got snow over this North Atlantic. Look at the rain. Here's this atmospheric river, and then here's another one right after it coming across the Atlantic, and it looks like it's hitting Ireland and the UK. We've got a huge area from East Texas going all the way over to the East Coast in rain, and then north of that snow. And California is having one atmospheric river after another move in. And here in the Reno area, we've been having rain off and on all week. We're under flood advisory, Washoe County, and a lot of the counties in Nevada are under flood advisory because of the snow is melting where it's raining, and up in the mountains they're getting, so much snow. It's really dangerous, and structures are collapsing under the weight of the snow. They've got feet of snow on the tops of the buildings, and the buildings are just collapsing, and there are breaches and levees and broken levees. In California, there's a lot of flooding. It's really catastrophic. And so, anyway, where I am, I'm kind of on high ground, and so I'm not in danger for flooding, so that's a plus. But it's is just really tedious, just very tedious. And also, I haven't said anything on YouTube yet, but I'll go ahead and share. I lowered my carbon footprint and sold my car earlier this year, and so and I'm not going to be getting another one, and I'm not going to be driving anymore, and I'm using public transportation. And anyway, there's that. But there were quite a few factors involved in me making that decision, and it was just time. And my car needed, it still ran, but it was in 1993, and it needed a lot of work on the interior, and I just couldn't do it. And I wasn't driving it enough to even keep the battery charged, so that's okay. And now I'm in the next season of my life. So I just thought I'd share that with y'all. So with all the rain and snow, then I have to plan my outings, and I get most things delivered, but there's some things you just have to go out for. So anyway, there's that. And look at this rain here, how far south it's coming. Right next to the Antarctic, and then freezing rain. right next to the coastline there. And then here are the jet pieces, and see the loops, and it's double loops and triple loops. Here's the cold air coming down. And see, I mean, it's all broken. And here's the Pacific view. We'll look at sea ice and snow cover in a minute. And here's sea surface temperature anomaly. This is for yesterday, the 11th. And we've had browns all winter long up here in the North Barents Sea and up to Svalbard and around Greenland. And the sun is almost up completely over the Arctic, and all the coastlines are in the sun now, and the ice has started to melt even. And so we've got these high readings off the coast of North America up into the pink zone. That's 6C higher than normal. The Gulf of Mexico is intensifying into super dark brown and reddish brown, and that's like 3 to 4C higher than normal. And this is the Pacific view, and see this equatorial Pacific. This is really heating up, all these browns just west of South America and Central America. And this is El Nino setting in, and super high around New Zealand, and here around Japan, here in the North Pacific. I mean, we've got our hot spots, definitely. And here in the Atlantic, all the way across, here's this hot spot in the South Atlantic. The Indian Ocean is heating up. It's almost all in the brown. And around the Antarctic coastline, that's mainly in the brown as well. And next we'll move on to methane. So we're going to look at methane for yesterday, the 11th, for the Met-Op-B satellite in the morning. And we're on the 1000 millibar level. The mean or average was 1837 parts per billion. The high reading was 2199. In the afternoon, the mean was 1839. The high reading was 2200. On the Met-Op-C satellite in the morning, the mean was 1843. The high reading was 2177. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1843. and the high reading was 2255. And here's our weekly charting for the 1000 millibar level, and the 11th averages out to be 1840.50, and here we saw a decrease of 2.5 this week. So see, it just really took a nosedive from where we were last week. And let's see what happened this week. So in my show last Sunday, we ended the week at 1843.0, and we had an increase that week of 1.75. And then the 5th, we went up 1.5. On the 6th, we went down 1.5. 7th, down 1.75. 8th, up 0.25. 9th, down 0.25. On the 10th, it went down 1.0. And on the 11th, it went up slightly, 0.25. And so on the 10th, we were 1840.25, and that tied with our low for the winter season that we had on the February 20th of 1840.25. So I don't know if this is the usual pattern for surface level methane, because I've tracked it in the higher parts of the atmosphere in the past. Okay, and then switching gears to the 487 millibar level, back to the Met-Op-B satellite in the morning. The mean was 1911. The high reading was 2418. In the afternoon, the mean was 1915. The high reading was 2417. On the Met-Op-C satellite in the morning, the mean was 1874. The high reading was 2218. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1873, and the high reading was 2348. Here we go. So here's the 11th 487 millibar weekly chart, and so that averaged out to be 1893.25, and we saw an increase at this level of 1.25, and we can see it went up here. So it's been going up steadily for the last 3 weeks in a row here. And so, maybe it makes a difference that it's at the 487 level rather than at surface level. Okay, let's see what happened here this week. So here's where we ended last week, or in last week's show. We were 1892.0, and we had gone up 2.0 for the week. Then the 5th went up 0.75. 6th went down 1.0. The 7th went down 0.25. The 8th went up 0.25. 9th up 0.75. 10th up 0.50. And 11th up 0.25, giving us an increase this week of 1.25. So we can see it only went down 2 days this week, and the rest of the days it went up. So, like I said, it may make a difference that this is at the 487 level. There's that. Now we'll look at the CAMS data. Here's methane forecast, and remember they changed their website, so it's got a new look. I like it. And this is Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services. And so here, our base time is Saturday, March 11th. Valid time, Saturday, March 11th. Arctic area and surface level to start with. Okay, so the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I also discovered that the movie goes a tiny bit slower on their redesigned website rather than the old one. So it gives us a little bit longer on each frame. So we're seeing continued higher readings. See here, Kara Sea, the Barents Sea, Laptev Sea, East Siberian Sea. This is coming up through the sea ice. Even here, around just past the North Pole, see? And the ice is melting up here already. You'll see when we go through the other models. So we're actually seeing some kind of lower readings across the interior of Russia. And also, just depends on the day as to how blobby it looks. This is North Dakota. That's kind of always going. This is the tar sands region in Canada. Here's California. This is West Texas. Then the Gulf states here. And you can see in the forecast period, it really zips up there here in the U.S. Now watch. See here. That's on Tuesday. And look. There you go. Then on Wednesday, see, and this dark line follows the Mississippi River going up. Okay, now we'll go to the North Pole view. So here's the Persian Gulf, here's India, and still spilling over here in the Bengal Bay. Here's China, here's Korea, and we have these waves bursting out. Okay, and then rewind, and now we'll go to the Antarctic view. Here's the Western Peninsula, here's streaming down, here's South America, and we can see that the main background color is still this dark blue, and our color ledger, and that dark blue is 1820 to 1840 parts per billion, and then the next color up is the 1840 to 1860 parts per billion. And with the dark blue as the main background color, we can see the methane coming up around the coastlines, and it's increasing. This is the Brunt Ice Shelf. Here's the Western Peninsula. Now some of this is streaming down, but you can see it independently. See, here is along the Larsen ice shelves, and on the west side, and down here on the southern coastline, next to the Ross Sea, and Amory Ice Shelf, and northern part. I mean, it's increasing. And the sun is almost down there. Sun's going down. Alright, and then we'll go to the global view. You can see the lighter readings, more of them are creeping down further south. So this is a sign of methane increasing as well. Uh-oh, wrong one. Here we go. And now we'll peak at 500 HPA. So this corresponds, this is as close as we can get to correspond with the 487 millibar readings on NOAA. We can see we've got some lower readings creeping in the northern part, and methane is redistributing. See, it's heavy is coming further south now. And then total column. And see here, it's heaviest at China, Philippines, and then down here. This is Southern Asia and Indonesia there. And then all these reds. So there's that. And then next, here's sulfur dioxide. This is total column for today from CAMS. And we've been seeing all week, every day we've been seeing new high readings just moving across this northern hemisphere. And I'm not sure what it's all from, but we had some high readings along this west coast of the US and Canada, and it's a little lower today, but I'm thinking it was because the plate movement, and the Juan de Fuca plate has had earthquakes on it almost every day this week. This is 500 HPA, and see, we've got high readings coming up across the Arctic, and here at southern Greenland, and we had some from Russia, and so on. Here's the North Pole view, and look at here today. Let's see. And I like to look at 500 HPA because it has to shoot up into the atmosphere for it to, with quite a bit of force, for you to see higher readings up here. So, let's see the curve there. And this is just, well, this is in the Gulf of Alaska, so just off the coast of Alaska and Canada there. And this is left over, I think, from what's been coming over this week. But you can see overall that sulfur dioxide levels are increasing around the globe. I don't know if they've started shooting it up in the atmosphere. If they have, maybe this is what we're seeing. I don't know. They were talking about gonna do it, but I have no clue. Okay, here's the ozone hole over the Antarctic today. And all these shades of green, these are all below normal or a good level. The solid yellow is 300 Dobson units, and then once you get into the yellow-green, it starts going down. We've also got a patch of aqua coming across here, and lots of, see, 3 big breaks coming up. Here's the Arctic view of the ozone, and it likes to gather over the cold air in the Arctic, but this will redistribute as the season changes. Here's the global view. Look at all these greens all the way around. And I took a few earthquake pictures today. We've got 270 worldwide. These big dots are 5s and then 4s around. And up here at Adak, Alaska, it's a little volcanic island in the Aleutian Islands, and it's been swarming for the last 3 or 4 days. Here, Alaska had 149 today. Most of those were here at Adak. So here's Adak, and in this region 67, and that's gone down. So it's slowing down, but very slowly slowing down. And here's the Juan de Fuca plate, and just on the west side of it was a 4.4 straight across from Vancouver Island. And what we saw yesterday and day before, we saw high sulfur dioxide readings all the way along, like from the Seattle area up into along Canada. And so like I said, I think that's from plate movement. And here's the Juan de Fuca plate. This is the North American plate, and this area here is the Cascadia subduction zone, where one plate goes under the other, and we're overdue for huge plate movement here, and a huge earthquake, and it could happen either up here, like in the Seattle area, or further down in the Bay Area, or anywhere along there. And that's it for that. Now we'll move on to sea ice. And we're starting with our slideshow from Climate Reanalyzer, and I save these images. I try to every day. Occasionally I miss a day. Here's sea ice and snow cover for today. And anyway, you're not going to see much change this week. Here we were last Sunday, the 5th, so I'll just click through. Here's the 6th, 7th. Now see, it's diminishing here in the Baffin Bay. 8th, 9th, and we've got a retreat up here in the North Barents Sea. 10th, that was a big retreat. 11th, and here we are today, and it's retreating along this Canada coastline. And moving on to the U.S. Navy sea ice models. Their most recent data was from March the 9th, and so that was Thursday. So here we were on Thursday, March the 9th. This is Arctic sea ice thickness. And let's see what we've got. This is, see, it's trying to come back here, a little regrowth in the Barents Sea, but that went away. I mean, a lot of it diminished according to Climate Reanalyzer images. Still thin here in the Laptev Sea, or thinner, and I don't expect to see much more thickening, especially now that the sun is almost completely up. The green is 3 meters thick, bright aqua is 2 to 2.5 meters thick, and then here's our darker aqua, blue, and so on. Here's the 30-day animation, and this was updated to the 9th. So the data goes back 3 weeks, and the forecast period is out to Thursday coming up. So let's see what we've got. What looks like it's still thickening a tiny bit, until it's full sun. It could keep thickening, but we've got melting going on too, so I don't know. Look, this is really going down here in this Baffin Bay, so that's a big melting area. And you can still see this aqua ice exiting along Greenland here. Here's the Beaufort sea ice thickness for the 9th. And this dark red, that's the thickest. 5 meters thick. Not much. Bright red, a little bit. 4 to 4.5 meters thick. Here's the green. 3 meters thick. Here's the bright aqua. 2 to 2.5 meters thick. And here's the darker aqua. I mean, the super dark aqua is 1.5 meters thick, like right down here. And then dark blue is about 1 meter thick, or 1.25. The dark purple is about 1 meter thick, and lighter purple is 0.5, and so on. And here's the 30-day animation. Again, this was updated to the 9th, so the forecast period goes out to Thursday. And we are seeing thickening. See here in the Chukchi Sea a little bit. Here's the Antarctic, and it started on the refreeze. We can see fringe ice here in the Ross Sea, and here on this west side, and a little bit in the Weddell Sea. And the 30-day animation, again updated to the 9th. So the forecast goes out to Thursday. So it's just started with the refreeze there. Here's National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is Arctic sea ice concentration for yesterday. And we've got melting here. See, all along the Canada coastline and here in the Baffin Bay. And up here in North Baffin Bay. Also see these blues in the Beaufort Sea, and here that's melting. And on this east side of the ice, this is melting as well. And the brown line is the median. And here's our sea ice extent for yesterday, and the blue line is this year, the dotted line is 2012, and we definitely see a downward slope here. And so I think our peak was right back here, or it would have been probably around March 9th. And I was looking back through my archives, and last year we reached maximum extent on February 25th. And so here I'm pretty sure that was our peak, and that would have been, well, right around March 3rd or 4th, it looks like. And now we've got a downward slope. Here's the Antarctic, and you can see the blues with the refreeze. And here is the extent for the refreeze. And this blue line is this year. This kind of grayish green line is that last year. And the gray line is the median. And we're just a hair below last year. So see, the refreeze angle has gone up. It's about a 45-degree angle now. So we're about tied with last year. It's still record low. That's all of that. Now, we'll look at NASA Worldview. So here we are for today. This is the satellite image. The black circle here is the area that's still in the dark, and it's well within the 80-degree north latitude area. So Here's our sea ice concentration layer. And I want to just go over what happened this week. And our blue marble layer cuts out the clouds. So we'll go back to last Sunday. Here we were last Sunday. See all the pinks. That means there are lots of cracks. When you have the white, that's full concentration, meaning there are no cracks. It's fully frozen. So let's just click through and see what happened. Here's the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. See the darker pink come in here? This is melting. 10th, and we can see the retreat here on this eastern edge. 11th, and big retreat and melting here and here in the Fram Strait. And today, and so there's that. And I haven't even tried. What am I doing? I haven't even tried looking at the nighttime layer to see what we can see. Sometimes it works. When it gets real close to the horizon, it gets kind of weird. We might be able to see just a few areas. Here's the Lincoln Sea, and we can see a lot of cracks there. Here's the nearest strait with the pieces of ice there. And here is the other end of the nearest strait where it opens out into the Baffin Bay. We can see a lot of open water there. Okay, and you can see all these cracks. This is why it's pink, because these cracks, see the dark, that's water. That's open water under there, so it's not solidly frozen, just solid. Here's Svalbard. Here's Franz Josef Land. And see the ice, all the cracks there. Here's Novaya Zemlya. And all these white lights, that's cities or buildings or something like that. Here's the Yama Peninsula and the Kara Sea. See all the cracks. Here's Komsomolets. Now, methane kind of calmed down around Komsomolets this week, but the other areas, I mean, it's coming up. It is coming up. And really that's about all we can see with this model. It gets too dark, so let's turn that off. And now we'll just go in with the satellite view. And so if there's clouds, we won't be able to see the ice. Here's the Lincoln Sea. See all the cracks here. Here's the nearest strait. Look at this. See, there's open water, and see the pieces. Here's the Baffin Bay. Here's where it's melting along the Canada coastline. Here it is on the east side of Greenland. Here's Svalbard. Here's the eastern ice edge. Here's Novaya Zemlya. Here's the Kara Sea. Here's Severnaya Zemlya. Here's the Laptev Sea. Look how far in. See? This line is 80 degrees north latitude. There's the sea ice. Here's the Bering Strait. There's the ice sea. Here's the Chukchi Sea. Here's Alaska. Here's the Beaufort Sea. See the cracks. See. That's what goes first. The big leads. And then it just starts breaking up. And here, see. Here's Ellesmere Island. It just came into the sunlight. And there's Greenland. So, that's about all we can see there. Now we'll go to the Antarctic view. Here we are today. I'm going to start down here. Here's our A76 iceberg we've been tracking. It's still there and intact. See how much it moved this week. Not much. So here we were last Sunday on the 5th. Ooh, there's a cloud on the 6th. 7th. It's right there under the cloud. 8th, there it is. Look at this. We've got some pieces coming off, see. But it's amazingly still intact. Here's some tiny pieces coming off. See that? Ninth. 10th, 11th, and today. So, it didn't go anywhere, which I'm very surprised of. Okay, here's the Western Peninsula. And we've got clouds here. Let's see. Here's yesterday. That's a better view. So, here's some thinner ice. And then the thicker ice is right down here. Right along this Western Peninsula. And see, here's a big hole. See that? This is the Weddell Sea. Get back to today. And then, coming on down, here's Pine Island Glacier under the rippling clouds. Look at this view. Here's yesterday. You can't get a better view than this. This is the flow of the glacier. And this is where it calved off a couple of years ago. And here's the Thwaites Glacier here. See? And this edge right next to it, this is, see, that's just really deteriorating. See today. Here we go. We've got a little refreeze going on here. See? And the ice tongue. See, here's some refreeze going on. And here's that largest piece. And these pieces are what's left from the ice tongue. And now it's refreezing. Coming on around. Here's the Ross Ice Shelf and Ross Sea. And we've got a little fringe ice coming in here. Here's Ross Island. There's Mount Erebus. It looks like the top of the volcanoes are poking through the clouds here. See the shadow there? Let's see yesterday. Here's yesterday. See the shadow. Here's ice. So, let's see what else. Here's the Totten Glacier. Let's see. Yeah, I see clouds all week. Here it was on the 7th. Here's the crack that never broke off. And here's some refreeze going on. See the refreeze. Here's the east side. Here's the Angry Ice Shelf. See. See, this opened up all around here. Here's a little refreeze. And here's the north end. Here's the Brunt Ice Shelf. Here's yesterday. And here's the biggest piece that broke off just to be up here. This is A81 iceberg. It's hanging in there. Let's see. There's today. And see the black dot here. So the sun's going down and it's dark right at the South Pole. And so now this dark area will get bigger and bigger as they go into their winter time. So there's that. Now we'll look at some earthquakes. We've got 258 worldwide right now. And of those, 43 are 2.5 magnitude or higher. These are all 5s along here, and then some 4s and 5s. See Turkey, still, we've got some 4s there. Look at Romania, 4.2. Kosoka, Romania. And here, Tajikistan and Afghanistan, 3. And here, 4.8, Wangling, India, and so on. Look at this. Here's one off the east coast of New Zealand, 4.7, off the east coast of the South Island. Normally we don't see them here. Anyways, you get the idea. And here's that 4.4, just next to the Juan de Fuca plate. So magma is rising too. We have to remember that. Let's see. Let's turn on all magnitudes. 7 days, all magnitudes. Look at this. 2,692 earthquakes this week. That's about 1,000 more than last week. And, you know, most of that's from Alaska. The ADAC region. And you can see them all around this ring of fire. And still Turkey and so on. Here's some in the Mediterranean this week. And see, Atlantic Ocean, and all along the coastlines here, and so on. Let's look at ADAC. Now the highest they had here was 4 or something. So here's 1,029. So that's the difference between this week and last week, right there. 1,029. Unbelievable. So I don't know. And see here, look at all this movement on the Juan de Fuca plate this week. Here was one on the north end of 4.3, 4.2, 3.3, 3.0, and 3.4. So quite a bit of movement there, and so on. Anyway, that's my report for tonight. And now we'll switch gears to the spiritual aspect. And we're making our way through the book of Job. Job chapter 22. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Can a man be profitable unto God, as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous? Or is it gain to him that thou makest thy ways perfect? Will he reprove thee for fear of thee? Will he enter with thee into judgment? Is not thy wickedness great, and thine iniquities infinite? For thou hast taken a pledge from thy brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink, and thou hast withholden bread from the hungry. But as for the mighty man, he had the earth, and the honorable man dwelt in it. Thou hast sent widows away empty, and the arms of the fatherless have been broken. Therefore snares are round about thee, and sudden fear troubleth thee, or darkness that thou canst not see, and abundance of waters cover thee. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold, the height of the stars, how high they are. And thou sayest, How doth God know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? Thick clouds are a covering to him that he seeth not, and he walketh in the circuit of heaven. Hast thou marked the old way which wicked men have trodden, which were cut down out of time, whose foundation was overflown with a flood, which said unto God, Depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? Yet he filled their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it and are glad, and the innocent laugh them to scorn. Whereas our substance is not cut down, but the remnant of them the fire consumeth. Acquaint now thyself with him, and be at peace. Thereby good shall come unto thee. Receive, I pray, the law from his mouth, and lay up his words in thine heart. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. Thou shalt put away iniquity far from thy tabernacles. Then shalt thou lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brooks. Yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense, and thou shalt have plenty of silver. For then shalt thou have thy delight in the Almighty, and shalt lift up thy face unto God. Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, and he shall hear thee. And thou shalt pay thy vows. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. When men are cast down, then thou shalt say, There is lifting up. And he shall save the humble person. He shall deliver the island of the innocent, and it is delivered by the pureness of thine hands. Job chapter 22. So as we head deeper and deeper into these end times, we are going to experience collapse, and we're experiencing it, and it's like everything is collapsing, not just one thing. We've got the financial system, society, climate, and earthquakes, and methane, and sea ice, and I don't know. It's just all like a big combo plate of collapse. And we need to remember, we're not from here. If you believe in God, and you believe in a creator and God, and then you know that we're not from here, and we're going home. We'll be going home soon enough, those of us who are found worthy. But you need to repent. You need to turn from your old ways of any kind of sins that you had. Ask for God to forgive you, as to be found worthy, to be be found in heaven when you die. Remember John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever shall believeth on him shall have everlasting life, and who doesn't believeth on him shall have everlasting death. And so they're talking about spiritual life. And if you believe on Jesus and God, you'll have everlasting life. But you have to believe. I mean, how many more signs do you need that this is the end? And it's coming. It's coming for all of us. So if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it now before it's too late. And I mean, it's coming soon for a lot of people. So I hope everyone has as good a week as possible, that you're safe and you stay under God's protection and God's wing. And so, Lord willing, I'll be here next Sunday. Hopefully I'll get up before noon, and so my day will be a little bit better, and I won't be recording this after midnight. Anyway, we got this done. I love you all, and I'm praying for you. And until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.